Good morning, boys and girls, and happy Monday. I hope you have all had a wonderful weekend, whatever you got up to. It is the 13th of April today. It's Monday. We have got another week of distance learning ahead of us, and we're going to attack the week with positivity, with smiles, and being the best learner we can possibly be. And to start off this week, we have got a very short assembly for all of you from years 1 to year 6. And we have a special theme that we're going to be focusing on, and that's neurodiversity, which I will come on to on my next slide. But as always for this week, let's remember our 3 R's. Let's be ready for our learning. Let's be respectful for one another. Let's be responsible learners as well. Hopefully soon we can get back into school, but for now we have to make the best of what we possibly can. I am wearing my DBS uniform. You can see I've got my house shirt on, which says SLT on the back. I'm wearing that, and I'm also wearing my gold ribbon for Neurodiversity Week. Now, some of you might be thinking, what does the word neurodiverse mean? What is neurodiversity? Okay, it is when someone has a brain that maybe works a little bit differently to one another. And if we explain that a bit more, all of us have a unique brain. Our brains are very different. No brains are identical. And our brains function in different ways. Some of our brains, and for some of us, we find problem solving easier, or we find reading easier, or maths questions, or being creative. But then other things we might find quite difficult. And that's because our brains work in different ways. We are all neurodiverse in a way. Now, some people's brains work a lot different, and it could be that they find things really challenging. For example, they might find maths really, really challenging, but they find reading easy. Some people can think really quickly and come up with answers, where other people have to take a lot longer to do that. Some people love noise and activity, but for other people, they find that really challenging and they can't concentrate and they need that calmness. But with all these differences, the important message to know is that none of these are weaknesses. We harness the positivity of how our brains are all so different, and they are differences that should be celebrated. If a child finds it difficult to sit still, it could be that you've got more creativity in other areas of your learning, and you can celebrate these with what that means. Okay, so we're going to continue on with the theme of neurodiversity, and I'm going to pass over to Mrs. Joyner, who is going to go through our next part.
Thank you so much for starting off today's assembly, Mr. Sadler. Now, boys and girls, there are lots of different types of neurodiversity, and you may know someone who is neurodiverse, or you may be neurodiverse yourself. I have two little boys who both have a diagnosis of ADHD, just like our first celebrity on this slide, Simone Biles. Simone Biles is an Olympic gymnast, and she also has ADHD. This means that she can struggle to know how much to focus on something, but she is positive about having ADHD. She says, don't think of anything as a downfall, think of it as a superpower. And that's exactly what I tell my two little boys. ADHD is their superpower, and sometimes it means it can help them to see things or think about things in a different way to how others might think about it. Greta Thunberg is another well-known face. She is a well-known activist, and she also has autism. This means that communicating with others is something that she can find tricky. But Greta finds the strengths in autism. She says, under the right circumstances, it can be a gift and can turn into something you can benefit from. Zoe Saldana is a famous actress who you might know from some of the Marvel movies, and she also has dyslexia. Zoe can find reading and writing difficult, especially spelling. She speaks a lot about the things that she finds difficult, and she says, speak your mind, even if your voice shakes. Now, finally, I'm sure you all know who this gentleman is. This is Tom Holland, who plays Spider-Man in the movies, and he has dyslexia and ADHD. At school, Tom found it hard, especially when spelling. He talks about how important it is to have support. He said, my parents always said, so long as you try your best. And that's all any of us can ever do, boys and girls, isn't it? Now, just like Tom was saying it's important to have support, it's also important for us to support our neurodiverse friends in school. For a long time in the past, people concentrated on the things that others couldn't do. But in our school, we make sure that we remove barriers to learning, that we understand each other, and that we make sure everyone can learn in the way that suits them best. Because inclusion is not about fitting everyone into a little box, it's about making sure that everyone belongs in our wonderful school community. Now, I have a lovely video to show you, and then I will be passing over to Mr. Smart. So enjoy this video and think about what the messages might be behind it.
We are all different, and that's wonderful. Some differences are easy to see: height, hairstyle, eye color, and so on. Other differences can't be seen: our favorite foods, fears, or special skills. Interestingly, the way we see the world is also different. For instance, what do you see in this drawing? Most people see a duck, but some of you might have seen a rabbit. Whichever you saw, you are correct. This is just a trick drawing to show you that all brains work differently. The brain is your body's computer. It works differently for all of us and controls how you learn. That's why we are all good at different things. How you feel, which is why we all feel different emotions. And how you communicate. Sometimes the brain is connected in such a way it affects the senses and how we perceive and read situations and interactions.
So, boys and girls, what that video is explaining to us is that we all think in different ways and we all see things in different ways. So, I'm going to pass over to Mr. Smart now, who's going to talk to us a little bit more about neurodiversity.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Joyner. Over to me now to think about what we can do if we're working, playing with, or learning with children who might be neurodiverse. So, my first top tip is to be patient. We all know in different situations our brains work in different ways, and some people might need a bit more time. Some people might think of a way to solve a problem very quickly, but those that need more time might get frustrated if we're rushing them or we're keeping on at them. Okay, so if our friends are needing that bit more time to think about how they're going to tackle the problem, are they going to do a piece of writing or a drawing or something movement related? Let's give them time and be patient and not rush them so they don't feel frustrated. My next top tip is to be curious instead of judgmental. Being curious means that we're asking questions. How do you learn best? Why are you doing it this way? We're not judging them for doing something differently to how we would tackle a problem. Even on the call today, the way Mrs. Joyner and Mr. Sadler works might be very different to different situations to how I work. I don't challenge them about how they're doing a task or a job, but I might ask them questions and find out more. Mr. Sadler, why have you presented it in that way? Or Mrs. Joyner, why have you written it in that way? Okay, I'm not going to force my ideas and my judgments on them because they've tackled it slightly differently to maybe what I might have done. So remember, be curious, ask questions of your friends. My next top tip is to notice when someone might need support. And I think I covered this in the Year 3-4 assembly last week. You might remember that we were talking about how to identify when someone needs support. Sometimes we can see it and sometimes we can't. They might have gone a bit quiet or a bit reserved and shut themselves away. They might need some support and you could ask and you could check in with them if they need it or not. But also, they might want some quiet time to reflect on their own. So understanding whether they need the support is as important as offering the support to them in the first place. We can also make space for others to be themselves. This is really important. We are all so different, and that is what is absolutely amazing about who we are as individuals. We are all unique. We all work in different ways. Mrs. Joyner knows that sometimes when I'm in the office, I might need to turn away to my laptop to really focus in on the task in hand. Sometimes I might need to talk through an idea with Mr. Sadler. So talking it through might be a way of tackling a problem. So each way that I solve an activity or a task could be different. And that's the same for everyone who is learning something or carrying out a particular task. So make space for how others want to tackle that task and don't force your ideas or your way of working on them. That being said, sharing loads of different ideas and loads of ways to tackle a problem can be really creative as well. Here's a bit of thinking time now, and you might want to tackle these questions with someone else who's watching the assembly, maybe a grown-up, a brother or sister, and just have some reflection about what you would do. So the first question is, should we treat someone differently because they communicate in a different way? Why or why not? And the second question, someone in class is getting extra support with learning, but you're not. Is that fair? Why or why not? Have a think about them, and on Seesaw you could post your reflections for us. To end today's assembly, I've got this really powerful quote. It says, neurodiversity may be every bit as crucial for the human race as biodiversity is for life. And that's by someone called Harvey Bloom. Let's tackle some of those words first of all. Biodiversity is about the animals and the plants living and growing on our Earth. There must be millions of species on Earth, and each one is so different, but we need that diversity of those plants and those animals for Earth to exist in the way it does. Neurodiversity is exactly the same, about difference. We all think in different ways. We all tackle problems in different ways. We are all unique. If we didn't have that uniqueness, not only would it be a very boring place, we wouldn't be able to put our minds together to tackle new problems and solve new investigations, new ways of thinking. So neurodiversity is as important as biodiversity is on our Earth. And on that note, from Mr. Sadler, Mrs. Joyner, and myself, have a great week ahead. Bye for now.